Welcome to my Colombia stories. This one's a proper nightmare. Tonight's story comes from Liam, 28 years old, scaffolder from Sheffield. He saved up for 2 years to visit Colombia, stayed in cheap hostels, ate street food, watched every penny. On his 5th night in Cartagena, a promoter girl stopped him on the street, said there was a locals' night at a club in Bocagrande. Half price everything. Free entry. Liam thought brilliant. Finally something affordable. 10 hours later, he was $11,700 lighter, and the bouncers were walking him to an ATM at 4 in the morning. Sometimes the cheapest option cost you everything. Before we get into what happened, subscribe and hit like. Liam's nightmare will change how you look at promoters forever. Here's Liam. I'm a scaffolder. Work construction in Sheffield. Hard graft, good money when there's work. Not so good when there isn't. I've been saving for Colombia for 2 years. Proper saving. Skipping pints at the pub. Packed lunches instead of meal deals. Every spare quid went into a jar. Finally had enough for 3 weeks. Flights, hostels, food. Bit left over for going out. Not much left over, mind you. But enough. I landed in Cartagena on a Monday. Stayed at a hostel in Centro. Old city. 20 quid a night. Shared room with 5 other lads. Bunk beds. Shared bathroom. Didn't bother me, I'm not fussy. Spent the first few days walking around. Old town's beautiful. Colourful buildings. Street vendors everywhere. Tried to haggle with them. They loved that. Said I reminded them of their son. Probably said that to everyone, but I didn't care. Ate street food mostly. Empanadas, arepas, 2 quid a meal. Sorted. Saved a fortune compared to restaurants. By Friday I was getting bored. Needed a night out. Asked the lads at the hostel where to go. They said get Seamany. Bars, clubs. Cheap drinks. Said welcome to tourist Colombia. I decided to walk around, see what I could find. Headed toward Bocagrande, the beach area. Big hotels, casinos. Looked proper expensive. Not my scene, but I figured I'd have a look. Walking down the main strip around 8 p.m. when this girl stopped me. Pretty, mid-20s. Tight dress, high heels, clipboard in her hand. Professional looking. Hey, you English? I said yeah. Sheffield. Oh, I love Sheffield. My cousin lives there. Course she did. Listen, we're having a locals night tonight. At our club. Half-price drinks. Free entry. You should come. I said half price. What's half price? Beers are normally 6,000 pesos. Tonight they're 3,000. That's like 70 pence. 70 pence for a beer? In Bocagrande? That's proper cheap. I was interested. I said, what's the catch? No catch. We just want locals and cool tourists. Not the cruise ship people. You look cool. Flattery. Classic. But it was working. I said, where's the club? She pointed down the street. 2 blocks. Said it's called Eclipse. Big sign. Can't miss it. Starts at 10. Free entry if you mention her name. Valentina. I said, all right. Might swing by. She smiled. Handed me a card. Said, see you there. I walked back to the hostel. Told the lads. They said, sounds dodgy. I said, it's half-price drinks, mate. How dodgy can it be? Famous last words. I showed up at 10. The club was easy to find. Big building, neon sign, Eclipse, purple lights, bass thumping from inside, bouncer at the door, big lad, arms like tree trunks. I walked up, said Valentina sent me. He nodded. Opened the door, no charge. Free entry. Brilliant. Inside was dark. Red lights and smoke machines. Dance floor in the middle. Bar along the wall. Tables with booths. Maybe 30 people inside. Mix of locals and tourists. Felt normal. Felt safe. I walked to the bar. Ordered a Club Colombia. Bartender said 3,000 pesos, 70 pence, just like she said. I paid. Took the beer. Found a table, near the back. Sat down. The beer was cold. The music was loud but not terrible. I watched people. Couples dancing, groups drinking, normal club stuff. Valentina appeared, sat down across from me, smiled. You came. I'm so glad. I said yeah. Cheers for the tip. Beer's proper cheap. Told you having a good time? I said yeah. Just got here, seems all right. You want another drink? I'll get you one. On me. I said you don't have to do that. I want to. You're my guest. She went to the bar, came back with 2 beers. 1 for me, 1 for her. We clinked bottles. Drank. We talked for maybe 20 minutes. She asked about Sheffield, about my job, about why I came to Colombia. I told her. Saving. Cheap holiday. Seeing something different. She said I was smart. Most tourists blow all their money in the first week. I said, not me. I'm careful. She laughed. Said that's good. Smart. Another girl came over, friend of Valentina's. Introduced herself as Camilla, sat down next to me, ordered drinks for all of us. Didn't ask if I wanted one, just ordered. 3 beers came, 9,000 pesos, £2. I offered to pay. Camilla said no. Her treat. We drank. We talked. The music got louder. More people showed up. The club was filling up. Maybe 60 people now. Looked busy. Looked legit. Around 11, Valentina leaned close, said, you want to see the VIP room? It's upstairs, better music. More private. Nicer crowd. I said, is there a charge? She said, normally yeah, but for you. Free. I'll get you in. Free VIP. Sounded too good. But I'd had 3 beers. Wasn't thinking straight. I said, all right, let's have a look. We went upstairs. Narrow staircase. Dark. Red lights along the walls. Bouncer at the top. Big lad. Arms crossed. Valentina said something to him in Spanish. He nodded, stepped aside. The VIP room was smaller, maybe 20 people. Leather couches, low tables, bottle service. Girls in short dresses bringing drinks felt fancier, felt expensive. Valentina led me to a booth, sat me down. Camilla sat next to me. Valentina sat across. A waiter appeared. Set down a bottle of vodka, 3 glasses. Ice. Mixer. I said I didn't order that. Valentina said it's complimentary. VIP perk. Relax. Enjoy. She poured drinks, handed me one. We clinked glasses. Drank. The vodka was strong, burned going down. But I didn't want to look weak, so I drank it. Finished the glass. Valentina poured another. Then another. I lost count after 4. Time got blurry. The music was louder up here, the lights were dimmer. I remember talking, laughing. Valentina and Camilla were funny, telling stories, making jokes. I felt good, relaxed, having a proper good time. Then a man appeared. Suit, slicked back hair, stood next to our table. Smiled. Said something in Spanish to Valentina. She nodded. He walked away. I said, who's that? She said, the manager. Just checking everything's okay. I said, yeah, everything's brilliant. This place is class. She smiled. Said, I'm glad you like it. Around midnight, I said I should probably head back. Early start tomorrow. Got a day trip booked. Valentina said, sure. Let me get your bill. Bill? I said. I thought drinks were free. She laughed. Not free. Discounted. Don't worry, it's cheap. She waved to the waiter. He brought over a piece of paper, set it on the table. I looked at it. Numbers. Lots of numbers. All in Spanish. At the bottom, 3,200,000 pesos. I said, what's this? Valentina said, your tab. For the VIP room. I said, how much is that? She said about $800. 800, I said. For what? She pointed at the paper. Bottle of vodka. 400. VIP room fee. 200. Service charge. 100. Girls' time. 100. Total. 800. I said I didn't agree to any of this. You said it was free. She said I said entry was free. Drinks are discounted. But VIP room has a minimum spend. You hit the minimum. Now you pay. I said I'm not paying 800 quid for a bottle of vodka. She shrugged. Said that's the price. Take it up with the manager. The manager appeared, like he'd been waiting, stood next to the table, smiled down at me. Problem? I said, yeah, this bill's taking the piss. I'm not paying it. He said, you drank the vodka. You sat in VIP, you enjoyed the company. You pay the bill. Simple. I said I didn't know there was a charge. He said, ignorance isn't an excuse. You're in VIP, there's always a charge. Everyone knows that. I said I want to leave. He said, you can leave. After you pay. I stood up, started walking toward the stairs. The bouncer stepped in front of me, blocked my path, didn't say anything, just stood there. Arms crossed, staring. I said, move. He didn't move. The manager said, sit down. We'll talk about this. Calmly. I said, I'm leaving. Right now. Bouncer put his hand on my chest, pushed me back. Not hard, but firm. Message clear. I wasn't going anywhere. I sat back down, heart pounding, hands shaking. This wasn't good. This was proper dodgy. The manager sat down across from me, smiled, said, "Let's be reasonable. You had a good time, you pay, you leave. Everyone's happy." I said, "I don't have $800. He said, "What do you have?" I pulled out my wallet, counted, 200,000 pesos, $50. That's it. Rest was back at the hostel. He said, 50. That's insulting. You think this is a joke? I said, "It's all I have on me." He said, "Then we have a problem." Valentina leaned forward, said, "I can help. I can talk to him. Get the bill reduced. But you need to pay me too. For my time. For helping you." I said, "How much?" She said, 200. 200? On top of 800. I said, "You're having a laugh." She said, "Do you want my help or not?" I didn't answer. Didn't know what to say. Felt trapped. Felt stupid. Felt like I'd walked into something I couldn't walk out of. The manager stood up, said, "I'll give you 30 minutes. Figure it out, pay the bill, or we call the police. Tell them you're causing problems, threatening staff. See how that goes for you." He walked away. The bouncer stayed, watching me, making sure I didn't move. I sat there in that VIP room, in that dodgy club, in Cartagena, 11 p.m. on a Friday night, and I was in serious trouble. I sat there trying to think. $800, I didn't have it. Not on me, not in my account. I'd budgeted $1,500 for the whole trip. Food, hostels, transport, everything. I'd already spent half, had maybe $700 left. In my hostel, in my backpack, hidden under my mattress because I didn't trust the lockers. The bouncer was still watching, arms crossed, face blank. Professional. This wasn't his first time doing this. Valentina sipped her drink. Casual. Like this was normal. Like trapping tourists and extorting them was just another Friday night. I said to her, "This is a scam. You know it's a scam." She said, "It's not a scam, it's business. You use the services. You pay for the services. That's how it works." I said, "You tricked me." Said it was free. She said, "I said entry was free. I never said VIP was free. You assumed. That's on you." I wanted to flip the table, wanted to shout, wanted to punch something. But the bouncer was right there, and I'm not stupid. He'd flatten me in 2 seconds. I said, "What if I just refuse? What if I just sit here and don't pay?" She said, "Then you sit here all night. We close at 6 a.m. You can sit here for 7 hours. Or you can pay now and leave now. Your choice. 7 hours. In this room. With them." I couldn't do that. I'd lose my mind. I said, "Can I call someone? Get money sent?" She said, "Sure. Use your phone." I pulled out my phone, checked the time. 11:15, checked my bank app. $730. Not enough. I could call my mate back home, ask him to send money. But it was 4 a.m. in Sheffield. He wouldn't answer. And even if he did, how would he send it? Western Union. That takes hours. Days even. The manager came back, sat down, said, "Time's up. What's it going to be?" I said, "I can pay 200 now. The rest tomorrow. I'll come back. I swear." He laughed. Said, "You think I'm stupid? You'll leave. Go to the police. Tell them we robbed you. Make up stories. No, you pay now. All of it. Or you don't leave." I said, "I literally don't have $800. He said, "Then we have a problem." He snapped his fingers. The bouncer walked over, stood next to me. Close. Too close. I could smell his cologne. Cheap. Overpowering. The manager said, "Give me your phone." I said, "What?" He said, "Your phone. Give it to me. Collateral. Until you pay." I said, "No. I need my phone." The bouncer reached down, took the phone from my hand. Didn't ask, just took it. Handed it to the manager. The manager said, "What else you got?" "Watch." I was wearing a Casio, 20 quid watch. Nothing special. But it was mine. I said, "It's worth nothing." He said, "I'll decide that. Give it." I took it off, handed it to him. He looked at it, tossed it on the table. Said, "This is junk. What else?" I said, "That's it. I don't have anything else." He said, "Wallet." I handed him my wallet. He opened it, took out my debit card, my credit card, my driver's license, looked at them, kept the cards, gave the wallet back empty. "Now you have nothing," he said. "No phone, no cards, no way to leave. So, you sit here. Think about how you're going to pay, and when you figure it out, you let me know." He stood up, walked away, took my phone and cards with him. I sat there. Alone. Well, not alone. Valentina and Camilla were still there, the bouncer was still there, but I felt alone. Trapped. Helpless. Valentina said you should just pay. This will go on all night otherwise. I said, with what? You took everything. She said you have friends, family, someone who can help. I said no one's awake. It's 4 a.m. in England. She shrugged. Said not my problem. Figure it out. I looked around the room. Other people were still there, drinking, laughing, dancing. Like nothing was happening. Like I wasn't sitting here being extorted 10 feet away. Then I noticed him. Guy in the corner. White. Maybe 35. Sitting alone, looking miserable. Staring at his drink. Not moving. I said to Valentina, who's that? She looked. Said another customer. I said he looks like he's stuck too. She didn't answer. Just sipped her drink. I stood up, walked over to him. The bouncer followed, stood behind me, watching. I said to the guy, you all right, mate? He looked up. American accent. Said no, not really. I said, let me guess, they got you too. He nodded. Said, I've been here since 6. They want $4,000, I don't have it. They took my phone, my cards, my passport. Passport? I said. They took your passport? He said, yeah. Said, I can't leave the country without it. So either I pay or I'm stuck here forever. I said, did you call the police? He laughed. Said, with what phone? And they told me the police won't come. This club pays them off. Everyone knows it. It's a trap. For tourists. We're not the first. We won't be the last. I sat down next to him. Said, how much have you paid so far? He said, 2,000. They keep saying it's almost done, just a bit more. But it never ends. Every time I pay, they add more charges. Service fees, security fees, exit fees, it's all made up. All bullshit. I say we should just leave. Both of us. Rush the door. They can't stop both of us. He said, I tried that. 2 hours ago, they beat the shit out of me. He lifted his shirt. Bruises on his ribs. Dark purple. Fresh. I said, bloody hell. He said, just pay whatever you can. Get out. Don't end up like me. The bouncer grabbed my arm, pulled me up, walked me back to my table. Sat me down. Didn't say a word. Just stared. Valentina said making friends. I said he's been here 5 hours. You're torturing him. She said he's not paying fast enough. If he paid faster, he'd be gone already. I said, this is illegal. You know that, right? She said, prove it. Call the police. Oh, wait. You can't. We have your phone. The manager came back. Said I talked to my boss, he's feeling generous, he'll reduce your bill. $6,000, that's it. Final offer. 6,000. I said, that's not a reduction. That's robbery. He said, call it what you want. 6,000. Or you stay here until you pay 800 plus interest. $100 per hour you stay. Your choice. Interest, I said. You're charging me interest. He said, time is money. You're wasting mine. So, yes. Interest. 100 per hour. It's been 90 minutes. That's another 150 you owe. Bill's now 950. Want to keep arguing? It'll be 1,000 soon. I said, this is insane. He said, this is business. Now, 6,000. How are you paying? I said, I don't have 6,000. He said, then start thinking. Because every hour you sit here, it gets more expensive. He walked away again. Left me there with Valentina, with Camilla, with the bouncer, with the American in the corner who'd been here 5 hours and was still trapped. I looked at my watch. Gone. Looked at my phone. Gone. Looked at my cards. Gone. I had nothing. No way to call anyone. No way to pay. No way to leave. Valentina leaned forward. Said I can still help. Get the bill down to 4,000. But you need to pay me 500. Cash. Tonight. I said I don't have 500 cash. She said ATM. There's one 2 blocks away. I'll take you. Get the cash. Come back. I'll negotiate. Easy. I said if I leave, how do I know you'll let me back in? She said you don't. But you don't have a choice. You want to sit here for 7 hours? Or you want to try? I thought about it. Weighed my options. Stay here. Watch the bill climb. Get beaten like the American. Or go with her. Get cash. Hope she's telling the truth. I said, all right, let's go. She stood up. Talked to the bouncer in Spanish. He nodded. Said something back. Looked at me. Not friendly. She said, come on. Let's go. We walked downstairs. Out the front door. The air hit me. Cool. Fresh. I could run. Right now. Just leg it. But my phone was inside. My ID was inside. If I ran, I'd have nothing. And they knew where I was staying. The hostel. They'd find me, so I didn't run. I walked next to her. Down the street. Toward the ATM, it was 1 a.m. The street was empty. Just us. A few cars passing. A drunk guy stumbling out of a bar. We got to the ATM. She said, "Take out 2,000. That'll cover my fee and part of the bill." I said, 2,000. I thought you said 500. She said that was my fee. The 2,000 is for them. Down payment, shows good faith. Then I negotiate the rest. I put my card in, entered my PIN, withdrew 2 million pesos, $500, maximum. It came out. I handed it to her. She counted it. Said, "This is only 500. I said, "That's the max. Daily limit." She said, "Try another card." I put in my credit card. Withdrew another 2 million, 500. Gave it to her. She counted. 1,000 total. Said, "Okay, this will work. Let's go back." We walked back. Into the club. Up the stairs. Back to VIP. The manager was waiting. Valentina handed him the cash. Said he's cooperating. He'll pay the rest tomorrow. The manager counted. Said 1,000. We agreed on 6. He owes 5 more. She said he'll pay tomorrow. He just needs to get the money. The manager said no. He pays tonight. All of it. Or he stays. I said I can't get more tonight. The ATM has limits. He said that's not my problem. Figure it out. He sat down, lit a cigarette, blew smoke in my face. I sat there. $1,000 gone. 5,000 still owed. This was going to be a long night. 2 a.m. I'd been there 4 hours. The American in the corner was asleep. Or passed out. Hard to tell. The bouncer had dragged him to a couch, left him there. The manager came back. Said I talked to my boss again. He's very upset. You're costing us money. Taking up space. Other customers could be here, spending money. But you're here, not spending. Just sitting. I said I gave you 1,000 quid. That's spending. He said that's a down payment. You still owe 5, plus the new interest. 2 more hours. That's 200. Total now is 5,200. 5,200. It kept going up. Every hour, every conversation. More charges, more fees, more made-up bullshit. I said I can't pay that. I don't have it. He said then use your credit card. We take credit cards. After you pay. 5,200 on this card. Then you leave. Simple. I said my limit's not that high. It'll decline. He said try it. He pulled out a card reader. One of those square ones, attached to a phone. Typed in an amount. 5,200. Handed me my credit card. Said swipe it. I swiped. Entered my PIN, waited. The screen spun. Processing. 10 seconds. 20. Then, declined. I said, "See? Told you." He said, "Try again." Lower amount. 4,000. I swiped again. Entered the amount. Waited. Declined. He said, "What's your limit?" I said, 2 grand. Maybe less. I've already used some this month. He said, "Try 2,000. I did. It went through. Approved. $2,000 charged to my credit card. He smiled. Said, "Good. Progress. You owe 3,200 now. Plus interest, let's call it 3,500. How are you paying that?" I said, "I'm not. I've given you $3,000. That's enough." He said, "It's not enough. Agreed to 6. You've paid 3. You owe 3 more. Plus interest and fees." I said, "What fees? You're making this up as you go." He said, "Exit fee, security, cleaning, standard charges. Everyone pays them." I said, "I want my phone back, my cards, my ID. I want to leave." He said, "Pay the 3,500. Then you get your things. Then you leave." I said, "I don't have 3,500. He said, "Then you're not leaving." I stood up, said, "I'm done. I'm walking out. Right now. Stop me if you want. Call the police. See what happens." The bouncer moved fast, grabbed my arm, twisted it behind my back, pushed me back into the chair. Hard. My shoulder screamed. Pain shot down my arm. The manager said to don't be stupid. You're not leaving until you pay. Accept it. Figure it out, or you stay here until tomorrow. And the bill keeps growing. I said, "Fine. I'll stay. See what happens." He said, "Okay, we'll see." He walked away. The bouncer stayed. Standing. Behind me. Hand on my shoulder. Heavy. Threatening. 3 a.m. I tried talking to the bouncer. Said, "Mate, come on, this is ridiculous. You know it's ridiculous. Just let me go. I won't say anything. I'll disappear. You'll never see me again." He didn't respond. Didn't even look at me. Just stood there. Stone-faced. Valentina was gone, Camilla was gone, just me. The manager, the bouncer, and the American, who was still passed out. I thought about my hostel, my backpack, my passport, my flight home in 2 weeks. If I didn't get out of here, I'd miss it. I'd be stuck, broke, trapped in Colombia with no way home. 4 a.m. The manager came back, said I have good news. My boss said he'll settle. Final offer. 3,000. Cash. Right now. You pay, you leave. Everything's forgotten. I said I don't have 3,000 cash. He said ATM will take you. Get the cash. Come back. Done. I said it's 4 a.m. I can't withdraw more today. Daily limits reset at midnight. I already hit them. He said try. The bouncer walked me downstairs. Out to the street. 2 blocks to the same ATM. He stood behind me. Close, watching. I put my card in. Tried to withdraw. Limit exceeded. Tried my credit card. Limit exceeded. The bouncer said try another amount. I tried 1 million pesos, $250. It went through. He grabbed it, put it in his pocket. We walked back, into the club, up the stairs. The manager was waiting. The bouncer handed him the cash, said $250. The manager said, good, you owe $27.50 now. How are you paying? I said, I'm not. I've given you $3,200. That's it. That's all I have. You can kill me. I don't have more. He said, we're not going to kill you. We're going to keep you here until someone sends money. Call your family, call your friends. Tell them you're in trouble. Tell them you need money. They'll send it. Then you leave. No one's awake. He said, then you wait until they wake up. 5 a.m. The club started emptying. Music stopped. Lights came on. Harsh white lights. The place looked different. Dirty. Sticky floors. Stained couches. Not glamorous. Just sad. Staff started cleaning, sweeping, wiping tables. The American woke up, looked around, saw me. Said, you're still here? I said, yeah. You? He said, they let me go an hour ago. Paid everything. Max 3 credit cards. I'm ruined. Just waiting for a taxi. I said, how much total? He said, 6,800. For 6 hours, 6,800. I was at 32.50. If I stayed 2 more hours, I'd be at his level. Maybe more. The manager came back. Said, okay, sun's coming up. We're closing. Final offer, 2,500. Cash. Right now. Or I call the police. Tell them you tried to leave without paying. Theft of services. They'll arrest you. You'll sit in a Colombian jail. Good luck with that. I said, call them, please, call them right now. He pulled out a phone. Dialed. Spoke in Spanish. Fast, aggressive. Hung up. Said they're coming. 10 minutes. You want to explain to them why you didn't pay? Go ahead. See how that goes. I sat there, weighing it. Colombian police, jail. My word against theirs. They had receipts, charges. Proof I was in VIP. Proof I drank. Proof I didn't pay the full amount. What did I have? Nothing. Just a story. Just excuses. I said, fine, I'll pay. But I need to get to an ATM. A different one, different bank. Maybe it'll let me withdraw. He said, okay, let's go. All of us, the manager, the bouncer, me. We walked outside. The sun was starting to rise. Orange light on the horizon. The street was quiet. Empty. Just us. We walked 4 blocks. Found a Bancolombia ATM. I tried my debit card. Limit exceeded. Tried my credit card. Same. The manager said there's another bank. 2 blocks south. Let's go. We walked. Found a Davivienda ATM. I tried. Again. This time it let me withdraw. 1 million pesos, 250. The bouncer took it. The manager said again. More. I tried. Another million. It worked. 250 more. The bouncer took it. Total now. 500 from this ATM. 37.50 total. The manager said we're getting close. Try one more time. I tried. Limit exceeded. Finally. No more. The well was dry. He said, okay. You've been cooperative. I'll reduce the rest. You owe 20. That's it. 20 more. Then you're done. 20? I said. I've given you 37.50. You said the bill was 6,000. I've paid more than 6. He said interest. Fees, time, it adds up. You owe 20. Pay it. Or we go back to the club. Wait until your limits reset tomorrow. Then you pay. Your choice. I said I don't have 20. I don't have anything. He pulled out my phone. My cards. My watch. My ID. Held them up. Said I'll keep these collateral. You go get the money. Bring it back. I give you your things. Deal. I said, how do I get money without my cards? He said, figure it out. Call someone. Borrow it. Beg. I don't care. You have until tomorrow. Noon. If you don't come back, I sell your phone. Keep your cards. You'll be stuck here forever. He handed me a card. His card said, "This is where you bring the money. Noon tomorrow. Don't be late." Then he walked away. The bouncer followed, left me standing there, on a street corner in Bocagrande. No phone, no money, no cards, no ID, just me and the sunrise. I started walking, back toward Centro, back toward my hostel. Took me 90 minutes, on foot, through neighbourhoods I didn't know, streets I didn't recognise, getting lost, getting found, getting lost again. I got back to the hostel around 7:30. The front desk guy looked at me, said, "You okay?" I said no, not even close. I went to my room, grabbed my backpack, found my emergency cash, $300. I counted it. Not enough. I needed 20 more, or they'd keep my stuff, keep my passport, trap me here longer. I asked the lads in my room, said I got robbed, need to borrow money, just for a day. I'll pay them back, I swear. One guy lent me 50, another lent me 30. I had enough, barely. I didn't sleep, didn't shower, just sat there, waiting for noon, counting the hours, the minutes. At 11:30 I left, walked back to Bocagrande, found the address on the card, small office, second floor, unmarked door. I knocked. The manager opened it, smiled, said, "You came? Smart." I handed him $400, 20 more than he asked for, said, "Here, now give me my stuff." He counted it, nodded, handed me my phone, dead battery, my cards, my watch, my ID. He said, "Pleasure doing business. Come back any time." I said, "Never. I'm never coming back to this city." He laughed, said, "That's what they all say." I left, walked straight to the bus station, bought a ticket to Santa Marta, leaving that day, that hour. Didn't even go back to the hostel. Just left. Couldn't stay in Cartagena one more minute. On the bus, I counted the damage. $37.50 at the club. $400 at the office. $41.50 total. Plus my dignity. Plus my trust. Plus my belief that people are mostly good. All gone. One night. One club. One promoter girl who said drinks were cheap. They were cheap. Until they weren't. Until the bill came. Until the bouncers blocked the door. Until you're trapped. Until you're paying. And paying. And paying. And they're walking away richer. And you're walking away broken. That's the game. That's the trap. That's Cartagena. That's Liam's story. Thanks for sharing that. This is my Colombia stories. Keep 'em peeled out there.